Okay, this is our second tutorial. This covers step C, reviewing articles that are to be posted that come to you via email. First thing we need to do here is go to the email program, and in your in your inbox, what you're looking for are items that have in the subject include the start with the three words article for posting, and that will be followed by the article's title and then a hyphen, and then you can see here is the title followed by 24. The 24 is the number of hours that it's expected before this article should be totally uploaded. That's sort of a guideline. And so when you see that, if it's 24 hours, and when we get down a little further down into this, we'll see that it's if it's got sign off from other people, generally a 24-hour turnaround means that even if there's going to be some sign off, somebody proving the article before it goes public, that's going to be somebody internally in the office. In a lot of cases, as you initially, there will be people will check your article postings, but as time goes by, that will you will just generally do this on your own, and as long as you follow do the copy pasting, nothing's really ever going to go wrong. I'm going to go to a template version of this just for initially, so we can run through some of the elements on it. Now you can see here. So here it is, article for posting. Anytime you see the greater than or less than brackets, that indicates something that's not really going to be, it's always going to be removed. It's just to indicate a location or something that we should pay attention to. So basically in here actually is supposed to be the name of the article, the title. We'll change that to title because that's really what it should be. There we go. And then a hyphen and then the hours until sign off or posting, they're pretty similar in this case. So the subject line, when this is really what somebody who's writing an article is supposed to fill out. They're supposed to put in the fill in here with the article title and the hours to sign off. They're supposed to indicate its primary location, and to remind you about what that primary location is that on the front end of our website, just for a quick moment here, when you see the front end of our website, wherever an article is supposed to go first before it's copied anywhere else, that's called its primary location. So when we were talking about our article here with McDowell takes Tiger's tourney, its primary location was Tiger Watch on the national section, which we went to before. I'll just remind you that. So we're in the national section right now because that's highlighted, and if we scroll down there and you see Tiger Watch and you click on it, here's the Tiger article, hopefully coming up here in a second. And there's Tiger's article, Tiger Ticket. That's where the article so it's in that section. If we look back here, reminding you again that it has a secondary location. In this case, you see there's two copies of the articles. The second one goes in the newsletter under top stories. So here's our newsletter. There's our top stories, and there's McDowell's article. So going back to our mail program now. So that's the primary code. In the case of this would be McDowell takes Tiger's tourney. We'd hopefully get that article out in 24 hours because it's a very time sensitive. It's a current news kind of story, so we would like to get out very fast. Its primary location is in the national section in the Tiger Watch category. So the title of that we saw was McDowell takes Tiger's tourney. The intro line, if we go and look at that front of that article for just one sec here, you'll see if we click on this article, we see right now we're seeing just the teaser of it. If we click on look at the entirety of the article, you'll see here that this first sentence here, maybe a bit more in this case, is their intro. Okay, and that's so when you see here, intro line can't be more than 25 words. It can include the author and the origin, where the article came from, and its date. The first image that you see, going back over here for a second, this is the first image that appears, which is always square and always appears on the right hand side and always appears in the teasers. So if we look at the newsletter, this photograph that always appears where a series of articles may be listed. So if we go back to just the Tiger Watch, and so we're just going to list all the articles that are in the Tiger Watch from the most recent, you'll see that we do see the intro for McDowell's plus that picture here. And you notice here, you see that these intros, they're actually a little bigger than they should be. This is because you can see the read more, which takes us to the entire article. This is more than 25 words. So these are not being done as well as they should be. They should be a little shorter so that we'd see more articles more quickly in the intros with just the teasers. Now, basically after that you have this. So we have the intro image here, which is the one we talked about here, that square image on the right hand side, and it could have a caption. In the case of this article with McDowell's, it doesn't. And then we have the main body for the text, where most of the content is. If there are more images in the body spaced throughout the article, then they're indicated by this image one, and then in that case we would replace those take that out and replace it with the image. At the end, after an article gets posted and we've saved it, then it may require sign-offs. Now, sign-offs are general, as I said, generally, initially your articles will be signed off by other people in the office, our editors. As time goes by, that may become less so. Other times we may get sign-offs from other people here, outside the office. So if we've written a piece that's about somebody and we want them to make sure that they're comfortable with what it says, we may say, hey, we'd like you to sign this off. Generally, in that case, it's not for a time-sensitive article, and we won't put it out to the public until that person has signed off on it. So in the case here, it says down here where it says sign off required in the next XX hours. If it's an internal one, we basically want that turned around in a day. But if it's somebody who's outside the office and we've written about them, we want them to see it before the public does, we might give them up to 3 days to respond to that. The next one down here, in terms of when you receive these emails, is the notification. What that means is that if there's anybody that we want to see to know the article about the article when it's posted, we will list them here. And generally that's going to be the person that it's about, or if we do the piece that we're going to do today is about a new putter, a new golf product, a piece of equipment from the Callaway company. And so when we post that, we're not going to really get sign off on them because it's a press release that we're using, so they've already approved the content, but we will tell them that we posted it. So that's sort of important too. After the article is signed off, after it's approved, that's when we do copy it to secondary locations. So when we saw that McDowell article and it was in the newsletter, that means that it would not be copied to be in the newsletter from its primary location in the Tiger Watch category until it was approved. Other secondary locations can include that breaking news, and I'll just point that out again just to remind you about it. If we up here on the top right, that this item right here we call our breaking news module, and we can sometimes articles will be asked to be posted there. So that's that first one. It might go to the breaking news. It might go in the newsletter and section. So that McDowell one was in the yes, it's going in the newsletter, and it was going in the top story section. We have something called the homepage rotator, which is another location that's a common location. Right down here when we're looking at the just below the title, this item here changes can change. So you see here's from the fringe, Baboon steals food at Ned Bank and James Lepp, and you can see, so we have 10 different items in what's called the national current feature, as you can see it there, that little item there, and we'll have 10 sort of important articles will appear there. By the way that these work is the same as the rotator up here. It's only, in this case, only the 5 newest breaking news items appear here. So we don't have to delete them from the back end of the website to make them disappear. They just are kicked out by newer content. The same thing holds true here. It's only the 10 most recent articles that are posted to the National Current Features that show up. Okay, and that's why these are what we term secondary locations, because there's one spot where they're going to be, where the article is going to remain forever. There's other places where they will not, may not be visible over the long term, or they're buried so much because they're so old that they're very hard to find. Okay, we'll go back to our email here. So those are our secondary locations. The final thing that we may have is articles appear in the magazine. The way that we use content in our office is that it goes to the website first, and is signed off there and approved, and the content is clean and finished. And in some cases, we will content that is going to will then appear in our magazine in print afterwards. Now it's actually, on a ratio, it probably is only one article in 50 to 100 that actually appears in the magazines. The magazines only come out twice a year, so it's not as common. But there's certain types of of articles that will. So anyway, that sort of gives you and also when we try and put a note in here as to where it's going to appear in the magazine as well. So that's all of the general. I'm gonna go back to my inbox here now, and sorry. We're going to look at the article that we've got here for the article that we chose. So this article, when you see an email that starts with article for posting, you bring that up. Now, so it's going to mirror here the same things I just went through with you in general on the other one. So we have a subject line for the email, which is which the author was supposed to fill out and he put in. So the primary location for this article is the equipment and putters. Now, we're now gonna take all this content and move it into the magazine. The way we do this is by taking all of this content and just copying it. And now we're going to copy it into the. We're going to take all the content that we've copied, and we're going to put it into a new article in the back end of the website.